All right guys, today's project, we've got a broken eye on this cylinder where it connects down on the H-link. Customers called, we talked about it. I told him that I could get it welded up for him and line bore it back out, and he wanted to go that route. So that's what we're going to do today. It's on a John Deere 350 excavator, and they were running a jackhammer with it. Don't really know what caused it to break, and this might not be the ideal repair, but the customer thought this would be the fastest way to get him back going, so that's what we're going to do. All right, here's where we're at on the repair. I thought about not really pulling it back together, but when I got here and put the bushing in it, it was going to be a ton of weld I had to put in it to get it back to get ready to machine. So I decided I was going to squeeze it together a little bit. Did it without having to put really much heat in it at all. I just pretty much just heated it up so it wasn't going to be cold when I bent it. But I welded this 3/4 by 4 flat bar across the top side of the eye, and then I come in here with this 1 inch on the bottom, and I put some little kickers in, some little braces, so it wouldn't just fold that 1 inch flat bar up. Blew some holes in it and ran my hollow ram through it and sucked it together, and it got it right on the money. And now I've got it tacked here, so that's going to keep it from spreading open. I can take all this off and I'll get in there and bevel that out with the torch and get ready to put some weld on it. All right, I'm pretty happy with the way it's coming out. I cut off all the excess material that I had on there to get it closed back up. I ran the torch through there to give me some bevels. I had to cut away this because it got in the way, and I had to leave it on there because it's still, that right there is what holding it shut. But it worked out good. I just come in from this way and cut a little V, and that right there will serve as my runoff tabs so we can get to skip that step. I'm gonna run the grinder through there, clean up some of that dross, and get ready to put some rods in this thing. I plan on welding this thing out with 110/18s, and we'll see how it comes out. All right, getting our first pass in there. Running some 332s for this first layer. I decided to skip the backing strip. It's really not a problem to fill in a gap like that. And it's putting a good weld on the backside for the most part. It'll clean up. I'm gonna skim cut it with the line bore, so that shouldn't be any problem to weld right over once we get it cleaned up. Coming along pretty good. Almost halfway with our welding passes. Everything's going good. I stopped to let it cool off a little bit. Inside looks pretty good. All right, almost got it all the way flush. I got one more layer to run up. Everything's coming out pretty good. I got plenty of metal on my edges right now. I shouldn't have to do much build up there. I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit. It's getting kind of hot, and we'll put that last layer on. All right, we got it all welded out. Next step going to be to remove these plates, and I'll cut that weld off flush, and we'll get the line boring gear out and start setting up on it. All right, we got our line boring stuff set up. I've got a square coming off that and squared it with a precision square, a machinist square, and then I set that to level and got the bar in plane and measured on both sides here just to make sure it's centered that way in the bore. This thing was stretched a good bit, so we're going to have a little more weld to put in there at the bottom. Alright, we got it pre-cut, and like I said, it's going to be egged, so we oversized it a little bit, and you can tell where the egged out spot was. We're doing a section weld right there on that to get that top back up, and after this layer of section weld, it'll probably be good to take one more cut all the way around to make it a circle, and then we'll start bore welding continuously. Working on the final weld pass, ended up having to do 2 passes in it. Might go in a little bit. Down to size, fixing to break these mounts off and get ready to press in the new bushings. I was able to do some blending and clean all that up while I was making the final passes, the final cuts. All right, we got the bushings pressed in. Everything went good. I didn't have any liquid nitrogen for this job, so I had to do it with the hollow ram. But everything went pretty good. They got started good and straight. Now we just gotta clean up all this stuff. Gotta love it.